It's daily delivery debate time here with Lavelle E. Neal III from the Star Tribune. Lavelle, how are you?
I'm doing great. All is well. It's getting colder.
Yes.
Daylight's getting shorter and shorter. Um, we'll have snow on the ground by the end of the month, which the end of the month is 2 weeks now. So
You really think snow on the ground by the end of the month? Have you have inside information? I don't like that.
I'm just saying, based on our history, I mean, I know the last two winters have actually been kind of mild here.
Yes.
But I think we're kind of due for a hit. Don't you think?
Well, maybe. It is getting cooler. It is, days are getting shorter. I don't like the daylight going away, but I don't mind the cool air. It feels like football season, which is topic number one today. Lavelle, it's been an interesting last few weeks for the Vikings with their quarterback situation. You had Carson Wentz having started the last three games. Now they're back from Europe, back from their bye. Wednesday, nobody's saying much, but Wednesday they made both quarterbacks available. So the subterfuge is carrying at least towards the end of the week, you would think. Aside from just like should they have made both these guys available, how should they have handled Wednesday? How do you think they're going about this overall? Are they handling, let's call it a quarterback dilemma? Is Kevin O'Connell and are the Vikings so far handling the quarterback dilemma correctly in your estimation?
I don't know if I'm calling it a dilemma right now. I think them trying to get JJ ready to play it may be a little bit of a dilemma. I think if JJ's healthy, he's going to start.
I
That's
agree.
right.
I
I
agree with that. I agree with that.
I believe they want him on the field. They want him getting experience. They want him getting reps. He's still on the sideline long enough. Uh, we don't know. They don't know what they have in JJ McCarthy. All we know is that their belief in JJ McCarthy is through the roof. Um, he needs experience, and this is a good time. The NFL, man, I tell you, you look at these schedules at the beginning of the year, and you start trying to add one. There's a victory there, there's a loss there,
Yeah.
but it's not when you play them. It's not who you play with. It's when you catch them. I mean, right now, what was considered to be a meaty part of the schedule isn't that meaty anymore. It's
Not as
man.
meaty. Yeah, I agree. Not as meaty.
Um, you know, Philadelphia doesn't have an offensive identity right now. They're pretty predictable and pretty vanilla. Will they be able to liven things up against, and do they want to try to liven things up against Brian Flores? Um, so if they can get JJ out in these situations, in these games that, um, just so he can once again, so he can just get some look, so he can get some plays run, getting used to getting the guys out of the huddle, getting calls played in, so they have time to figure out the protection, so he can call audibles if he needs to. He just needs to go through that whole process. I think they want him on the field. So but the other component to that is this is NFL and coaches are paranoid. And so they're going to try to keep people guessing as much as possible. So I don't even know if O'Connell will announce Friday. I think after Wednesday, he's speaking to the media. Actually, as of this taping, he's speaking
Yeah,
to
he
them.
is. Yeah.
Yep. And then both quarterbacks are going to be made available.
Yes, later
Uh,
on. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then O'Connell's supposed to speak to the media on Friday.
Yep.
He may not announce it then. He may wait till
No.
Saturday, maybe one of those late Saturday evening decisions that he'll leak out to someone. So,
Yes.
um, so we're caught up in the game. So we've got the whole is JJ ready to play or not uh, thing going on, which is keeping fans at bay and hand wringing and worrying and everything. We also have I'm an NFL coach. I have to hide all my cards. Uh, Paranoia going on. So this is going to go up to probably Saturday night before we find out if JJ or Carson's going to start. I just thought a week ago Monday when I sat in that press conference and listened to KOC and kind of listened to his voice and his inflection and everything, he sounded pretty fired up about getting JJ back out there and working him hard, not just easing him in the things. He talked about working him out extensively. So they must have gotten some assurances that they can do that with that ankle and that he's healthy. Uh, and therefore, if he's ready to play, I expect to see JJ against the Eagles.
I do too, and I think they've handled this reasonably well so far. I think it's a tough thing to navigate. I think this is 2023 was really hard for the Vikings, was really hard for O'Connell, but it wasn't to this level yet because he didn't have his hand-picked quarterback yet. He was just trying to get through 2023 after Cousins got hurt. But like the rest of that year was just like hey, there was a couple fun weeks with Josh Dobbs, and then it was like, okay, you can't just do that forever, and they finished 7-10, and then okay, now it's time to get serious. They draft McCarthy. They have the great year last year with Darnold, but now like the expectation level is raised because of last year's 14-3 record, and because they do now have their handpicked quarterback, who is, oh by the way, drafted 10th overall, the highest the Vikings have ever drafted a quarterback in their franchise history, which spans 65-ish years. So I think he's feeling it a little bit, but I think he has handled it pretty well up to this point. But now it gets interesting because there's a lot of games within the games now where it's like, okay, what do you do this week? I think you're right in that it makes sense to go to McCarthy for Sunday's game, and I think he wants to as long as McCarthy is healthy. There's also though the voice in the back of my head that's like, man, then you're asking McCarthy not just to come back, but then play again Thursday night against the Chargers right off of that Eagles game. It's a short week going to the West Coast. That's not a good situation anyway. We don't know exactly how healthy all their offensive linemen are. We'll probably get an update on that at some point here too pretty soon. So there's variables here. Carson Wentz has gone 2-1. You probably got some veteran wide receivers in the locker room that are enjoying catching passes. Justin Jefferson's gone over 100 yards the last couple games with Wentz slinging the ball. So there's more to it than just what KOC wants and what's good for the Vikings, but I do agree that they've handled it pretty well up to this point, but this is the biggest week so far in the decision-making process, and you got to get it right. He hasn't been pushed this way a lot during his tenure. He's had a pretty charmed 3 years up to this point, right? Like he comes in here in 2022 with the expectations aren't through the roof, right? Like they're coming off of 2 straight years of missing the playoffs in 2020, 2021. It's like, okay, start over with this guy, see what he can do. And they go 13-4 with a team that absolutely didn't deserve to go 13-4. Like they had a negative point differential, but like everything goes right for them that year. They're winning these wild comebacks, they're winning all these close games. 2023, he gets some grace for that. A lot of things fall apart, but he holds it together. And the last year they go 14-3. Like he's had a very charmed first 3 years, and I think he's earned a lot of that. This, I think, is wearing on him a little bit. Not to the point where he's insufferable or angry, but it's like, well, you're going to get mad about that, really? Like, don't you have bigger things to do right now?
Yeah, it could be worse if he was in a different market where people just take shots at you just because you're walking down the street, you know.
Right.
So yeah, he has had a great run here. And once you establish yourself as a quarterback whisperer, you're going to be given carte blanche in your market. I think that KOC's gotten that here.
Yes. Yeah.
So I mean, he deserves credit for what he's accomplished and how he's had to deal with adversity.
This is different. It's a different time for them. It's a different opportunity for them. I fully expect, like you, that as long as McCarthy is healthy and they can play the game and say, not ready yet, but if he's healthy enough to practice this week, if he was healthy enough to get a lot of work last week, you would, and if he's healthy enough that they're putting him out there Wednesday to talk to the media, you would think he's healthy enough to play. So whatever, if for some reason this doesn't go back to him Sunday, that opens up a whole another set of questions. But I expect him to play Sunday. I just don't think these are ideal circumstances because this is still a tough 4 game stretch, even if it's not as tough as it once looked. And I think the fact that the next game is a Thursday night game is a total kind of wrench in everything. Like if this was just a regular week, I don't think the discussion is quite as different. So I don't know.
Uh, I think if he's healthy and he'll be able to play Sunday and he can deal with the short turnaround. I'm
Yeah.
going to rip the league again for these stupid Thursday games. At least make them like within a division if you're going to do this. So for a quick turnaround, you not only doing a quick turnaround, you're making the Vikings go out west for this quick turnaround as well, and they have to come
Yep.
back. Of course, they get a mini bye when they come back, but still, I just don't. I just think when you have these Thursday night games, it needs to be regional or it needs to be divisional. Uh, and I just think it doesn't do the players any good.
Yeah. Second year in a row they've had to do it too. And last year they lost to the Lions and then lost to the Rams. And those were their only two regular season losses until the very last one of the season. So we'll see how they were able to navigate that one, regardless of who the quarterback is.